24 hours and a bit ago, the rain had been falling. We started behind the safety car. The cars were let loose down towards the hairpin at La Source. Mauro Engel led from Earl Bamber, and the Black Falcon Mercedes started to build the advantage as Andrew Harrianto had an early spin in the Audi, and we lost the Bentley of Callum McLeod early in the race with mechanical woes, and that car was done for. Kevin Estre, though, was on the money, carving his way up past René Rast, then up past Fred Makovici, working his way into second place at the first round of pit stops. Some brave driving being put in by Estre, and there was more to come later in the race as Gerhard Travasa clipped the side of Giancarlo Fisichella, and the BMW of Marc Grosjean rotated at Bruxelles. More skirmishes at the bus stop. This time it was the number 37 BMW of 3Y technology glancing off Kim Louis Schramm, almost getting in the way of some of the quicker Porsches, but then that 3Y BMW was out spectacularly. Very badly damaged, not only the car but the barriers too. Jean-Paul Buffin, the driver, was okay, but a bit shaken and bruised and battered, and we went racing again with Nick Tandy in the lead. But a drive-through penalty for the car setting a fastest sector times under a waved yellow did for that. Ryan Ratcliffe's incident here did for the Team Parker Racing Bentley. The car absolutely annihilated at the back, going off at high speed. The Silver Cup winners had a scare early on as well, didn't they? Because there Jordan Witt got involved with the Porsche, and here Andrea Caldarelli clipped an Audi and was clipped by the Ram Racing Mercedes. Pipo Derani did not want to give way to the leading Luca Stolz, who put a lap on him as they plunged down the hill. And then the rain started to come as we headed into the evening. Drivers cycling through pit stops, but also trying to work out what they should be doing about tyres. Was it time to go to wets, or could they brave it out on slicks? And this was the real dilemma. Nobody wanting to have yet another unscheduled pit stop. The rain got heavier, though, as we got towards 10 p.m. And this car was leading the Silver Cup, the Stein Schotthorst, Peter Schotthorst, Mathieu Drudi, Attempto Racing Audi. Another Audi in strife, though, was that returning 80. After its early spin, it was back in the race and back in the wall. However, it did get going again, albeit badly delayed. The 999 Mercedes was another car that was up and down the order in the early stages of the event. And as the rain fell, so up the order came 25. The Santalok Audi running out of sequence against some of the race leaders, but picking up places nicely. As darkness fell, number 72 found itself as the leading car, the Ferrari of Davide Rigon, Mikhail Alyoshin, and Miguel Molina at the 6-hour mark, and got a bag full of points. A rather grumpy Frank Stippler was caught up with the John Edwards BMW, damage to both, and the 91 Herbert Porsche came into the pits with front damage. Then the 72 Ferrari had another scare, another spinner right ahead of it as they went through Bruxelles. Away went the 563 Lamborghini, struggling for traction on the wet pit floor. And another spinner, the AF Corsa 52 Ferrari. Andrea Bertolini, one of the drivers of that, but it would be a retirement before dawn broke. Finding traction, finding track position, absolutely essential as the cars came through the bus stop and accelerated up over the line. Conditions getting worse, not only in terms of the fading light as the 74 Mercedes had a spin behind the 72 Ferrari, but also because the grip levels were changing all the time. It started to dry a little bit, so it was on to slicks. Then the rain came and you needed wet tyres once again. The constant dilemma. Do you follow the herd? Do you try and gamble? It's a brave man that does that and wins here at Spa where the weather is concerned. The safety car was brought out once more because of the conditions. The road now saturated in the early hours of Sunday morning. They were released, but it was a real challenge. And on the radio, the drivers were saying to the teams and getting the message relayed to race control that it was really dangerous out there, as the Santalok Audi proved a spin on its own. John Edwards had a sizable accident, hit from behind, he hit Frank Stippler, and look, the car off the road, and it spun, around and around and around. Number 4 Black Falcon Mercedes pitted for more wets. A full course yellow was called for to slow down the pace of the race and try and just make life safer. Everybody then had a look towards the weather map to see where the next break in the cloud might be coming, but the drivers were really struggling for grip on the Pirelli tyres out on track. Yes, they were cutting through the water, but there was just so much water out there. The marshals, as ever, the unsung heroes, and that yellow flag had a lot of use until it was replaced by a red light. The race was suspended at around about 5:45 this morning, and we didn't get the cars out again until just after 20 past 11. The rain carried on falling. There was a team managers meeting at 8 o'clock. They were all on board with the suspension, And then we got back in business with a safety car start around about 12 o'clock by the time they'd all been gridded. And we went racing with Christian Engelhardt being the man in charge. Zaid Ashkanani's green Porsche worked its way into contention. But Mikhail Alyoshin was under attack. So too René Rast as Chris Goodwin came across the front of him. That did damage on the Aston Martin. And that car effectively out of contention in the AM Cup. Dennis Lynn dive-bombed Alyoshin going down towards the hairpin at La Source. Through he went. Dennis the Menace in a car that excels in these conditions went through. Alyoshin then got up the curve coming out of the pit path, bounced off Ollie Jarvis's Nissan, and he lost many laps with suspension damage and ultimately retired as well. Graham Davidson had a spin from the outside of Blancpain to the wall on the in. That did enough damage to put that car out of the race. So another full course yellow to safety car, more pit stops, Valkenhorst and Dynamic Motorsport there taking the opportunity to switch drivers, and all of that put the #1 Audi into the lead of the race. René Rast at the wheel of it, he would give way to Robin Frins, and the battle to be second went the way of the Porsche, because that was a very brave Klaus Bachler going through, and Frederik Verveech had a wild old ride running wide coming out of Blancpain. For third place, however, Michael Christensen came up to have a go at Jelmer Berman, and he went round the outside heading into La Source. The GPX Racing Gulf-coloured, Gulf-backed Porsche edging its way forward. And still for the Silver Cup lead, it was the metronomically efficient Barwell Motorsport run Lamborghini Huracan. The 5-minute technical pit stop undertaken by Valkenhorst, the car into the garage so more people could work at changing the very hot old discs and pads for nice fresh new ones. And on a drying track, lap times were coming down as the #1 Audi was storming away up front. However, Nick Katzberg came into the pit lane with a punctured rear tyre, and the Valkenhorst squad took the opportunity to replace the shredded wets with slicks and send the car back out again, although ultimately Mikkel Jensen would go off the road and suffer rear damage, dropping back down the order into 11th at flagfall. 998, though, was on a mission. That car creeping up the order once more, as still #1 Audi led the way. That incident with the Aston Martin still being looked at by the officials at this point. Suddenly drama for Earl Bambury, got into the back of an Audi and up popped the front. Visibility greatly obscured, and he was oh so frustrated as he limped back down to the pit lane. So from here on in, it was the #20 Porsche pushing, edging through the traffic, battling with the #4 Mercedes, which just edged it once again on the next pit stop. But it wasn't long before Kevin Estre went round the outside of Maro Engel, and that gave it second position. And they were also closing on the #1 Audi, which made its next pit stop. So they all bunched up. It was Nico Müller behind the wheel, but he got it wrong at Les Combes. Went one way, went the other, round it went and backwards into the wall. And worse was to come for that car. It bounced off the tyres. He hooked a gear and carried on. But then, right up behind him, came Nick Tandy, virtually shoveling the Audi up the straight. He couldn't get past there, but thanks to the traffic, Tandy was ahead, coming down to the bus stop. That gave him third. Maro Engel had a go to try and get back ahead of Tandy after a moment at the bus stop. They both ran out wide. If you take that moment out of the equation and you take the drive-through that 998 had out of the equation, could have been a winning car. Time loss right there. It was only 3.3 seconds back at the flag as Engel went wide and lost another spot to Nico Müller. The rain came again late race, but it was Kevin Estre up front looking good for the race win until he had this scare with Shea Davis, who turned across the front of him. That may have done a bit of damage on the left front corner, but there was big damage done to Benny Simonson's 911 as he thundered across the road in the last 20 minutes of the race into the barrier. Absolutely destroyed the car, and that became a full course yellow into a safety car. And so everybody bunched up. The order was massively slowed and of course concertinaed when the safety car came out, and as we got going again, it was Kevin Estre leading the way once more as the cars turned their way down towards Pouen, where Klaus Bachler collided with René Rast and Jens Lieberhauser. And with 3 more cars off the road, it was another full course yellow and another safety car, all of which was depriving Nick Tandy of the chance to challenge. 78 Barwell Silver Cup Lamborghini heading for a win. TF Sport Oman Racing Team heading for a Pro-Am victory as well. In the Rinaldi Ferrari, it was an AM trophy to take home. But the overall winners of the Total 24 Hours of Spa for GPX Racing, Mikkel Christensen, Richard Lietz and Kevin Estre, the winners of the 71st Total 24 Hours of Spa. Great delight down in the pit bunker, and it was Kevin Est savouring the moment on the in-lap as he worked his way round to Parc Fermé, clambered from the car, an absolutely delighted driver. It's been another fantastic race. If you've been with us all the way on the live stream, thank you for your company. On behalf of Bob Varsha, John Watson, Martin Haven, Charlie Butler-Henderson, Dakota Jane and Ryan Marine, who've done sterling work either in the booth or in the pits, and from me, David Addison, we hope you've enjoyed this amazing installment in the history of the Total 24 Hours of Spa, and all of these drivers so graphically showing their emotion on the podium have certainly done so as well. But when it mattered, it was Porsche that came through as the overall winning brand, the first time Porsche has won since 2010. And the celebrations for the overall winning team was going to be underway, and as spectacular as these celebrations in the Silver Cup. All smiles from the engineers down in the pit lane. But there, the biggest trophy of the lot, the coveted Spa 24 winning trophy for Michael Christensen, Richard Lietz and Kevin Est at the end of a great Spa 24 Hours. From all of us, from Ryan Marine, Charlie Butler-Henderson, Dakota Jane, Martin Haven, John Watson, Bob Varsha and me, David Addison, thanks for your company. It's been another fabulous race here at the Spa 24 Hours. There'll be more of the same in 12 months' time. Bye-bye.